on, go! Okay. So I didn't glitch the game. I actually didn't die, but I landed on this small platform, and I was so scared I couldn't get back up.
That's your playing NASCAR Heat.
I am playing the NASCAR Heats.
NASCAR Heats.
Yep. Where are you?
I don't know. I said I got kicked.
Oh, I'm sorry. You must have been the blackened one and I banned you. Sorry. Whenever I join new Whenever I join new games, I immediately go, let's ban everyone in this lobby. You left my fire team.
Okay.
I have no clue what that is, but you left it. I have no clue even how to join you again, so.
I'm gonna have to actually go into my phone and manually change it because I tried doing Twitch is like updating something. They're being really funky.
Investigate. Have we figured out what the door is?
All right, one. Wait, I muted the party chat. Unmute the party chat.
Okay,
so I think we're ready. And 5, 4, 2, 0, 1, 7, 9, 0, 5, go.
What's up, Auburn child? On the Black and One stream, that's gonna be just a strange intro.
Hello, Fuzzy Waffles 27690. Hey, what?
Turn off.
Okay, I mean,
Turn on.
Should be good.
I'm turning something off.
I've been kicked.
I'm turning.
I've been kicked to orbit.
Yeah.
I'll just rejoin you here.
Oh, this light. Turn it off. Off. On. Oh crap! I gotta eat waffle at Waffle House. I don't think you have to eat at that location. I think you desire to eat at such food establishments. I don't recall how this game works.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll be there, buddy. I'll be there, buddy.
Yeah, but will you be able to find me?
I hope so. Yep. My Twitch didn't update. That's great. There we go.
You're playing NASCAR Heat 2?
No. Don't be silly.
I am boundary breaking this game.
Are you now?
Yep, I gotta hide from you.
Okay. Let's do. Sure. Yeah. And save. Here we go. We should be good now.
Yep.
Maybe.
Oh, I died. I jumped over. No, I jumped over a fence that was a little too far, I guess.
Network error. That's awkward. I guess I was waiting for you in orbit whenever you're ready to come back.
How do I get back into orbit?
Oh boy. I think it's if you hit select, it'll pull your ghost out, and then I think you hold B to go back to orbit. For some other reason, it won't let me connect. Well, before you leave orbit, or before you leave the tower, go. Everyone on the map in your area should have like a little marker over their head. Go talk to them to get the to get whatever quest they're gonna send you on.
Okay, I'll go talk to what's that guy's name? Grizzly Y615.
No, wrong person.
He has a little marker over his.
Oh, the NPCs.
I'm sorry, I thought this was Fallout.
I got people I gotta talk to at the tower anyways. I'll go talk to people. Because they redesigned it from the ground up. It's no longer typical, oh, here's a story thing, go kill this, and then come back and talk to me and I'll give you the next quest. It's like...
Close corridor. Oh, there you go. Cool. I added a quest, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, whenever you get quests, they literally hold your hand now and show you exactly what to do now. Like, oh, here's the quest menu. Here's all of your quests.
No. No, they don't. I think I added a quest.
They did for me.
They didn't
as soon as you
do it
get
for
your
me.
first quest, they'll show you where your quests are at. They'll tell you, oh, well, I know for Shadowkeep they did. Like, the first quest they give you, it's like, here's the quest menu. Here is...
Because I think I added a quest. Let's see, how do I get to the quest
Hit A to
menu?
mark the quest, and then it tells you to go to your destinations. It says, oh, click on the planet. There it is. Go and do the thing.
I don't know how to open up a quest. But I know how to dance.
You hold select.
Quest. Yep, I got a quest, but it didn't tell me how to do anything with it, so...
Well, you hit A to mark it, and generally what that does is now, when you go to destination...
Well, I thought you wanted me to talk to more people.
Well, you do, because they all will give you something to go do.
Of course, there's a lot of these, like, dots that have no people.
Well, you'll need... well, they'll have, like, a blue banner over their head with, like, a sword, I think. Those are all the people you need to talk to.
Okay, I'll go to the people with the blue banners, even though I think those are the players, but hey. Yep, he
ZAVALA,
isn't doing much.
IKORA... See, because I've gotten past all that, so in theory, I don't really have to worry about any of that. In theory.
Okay, added another quest.
Yes, add all your quests.
This quest guy is running away! Come back here.
No, I don't think NPCs are running like that.
Those messages.
If they're running like that, then something's wrong.
I collect all the messages.
Blue armor again.
Okay, I got all the messages.
Blue armor on there. 779. I'm growing. Oh, 791 is even better.
Okay, this guy has a lot of quests. He has a quest that involves guns, a quest that involves like this dragon thing. How do I get these quests? I just hit Horde A to acquire?
It is like what are you acquiring? Tell me what you're picking up, so I'm making sure you're not grabbing stuff that
it says I don't have enough silver for this quest.
I don't think that's a quest. Silver is the microtransaction money.
Well, it says I don't have enough microtransaction money then.
Oh, I mean, they're blue crowns, not swords. My apologies.
This guy's got a lot of quests too. So we're just gonna acquire. It says I have. It says I have no more experience left.
Oh, those are bounties. I think you're picking up if you're talking to Banshee.
I have no clue what I'm picking up. Somebody isn't explaining this game well enough to me. Like half these quest givers do nothing.
I got no one up here to talk to? Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, another one, I think. Oh, it wants to teach me about finishers. I have no clue where a finisher is, so... Hopefully it won't be needed for my weapons.
Nah. Pretty much what you'll do is when you get enemies down to like a pinch of health, you can hit right button on them and it'll be like an instant KO type thing.
This NPC doesn't even have a marker on them. They must be a boring one. I must have done that quest already.
Grab all these bounties. Bounties cost money. That's crazy.
I just spent all of my money on bounties then.
Grab. Yeah, you'll pretty much need them because anything you pretty much
This is
kill
strange.
while you're doing the activities. What's that?
I went down this entire path and it literally leads me nowhere.
No, see, no, see what you don't understand is, but Bungie's already laid the groundwork for the next DLC. See, you know, something's going to be there eventually.
Down a path behind the city, behind everything?
Probably.
He was like, this is where we're going to put the next DLC.
Do you sell anything still?
Do I sell anything? I don't know if I can sell anything.
I'm talking
in
to this.
game.
Hey, she's got... What? There's stuff here. Let me just, I guess, grab these, I guess.
Equip
I
finisher.
don't quite know what they do. That's interesting. They're new quest stuffs. Huh. Why she would have quests? I don't know. Today's Friday, so Zer should be somewhere hanging around.
I have no clue who that is. So.
You don't.
What are you doing? You're not a quest.
Well, pretty much what you need to do is now, if you've talked to everyone in the tower, you'll hold...
Nope, found a new one.
Select.
Bounties. Let me get all the bounties. And all the pursuits.
Yeah, pursuits are
Up, it says I have to get it now, so let me go get Destiny 2 Forsaken. That's how this game works, right? Just keep getting things. It says put in my credit card information. Okay.
I need your social security card number next.
These are some weird quests. Like, this guy doesn't even want anything except a series of numbers.
Oh, that's funnier than it should have been.
Oh, when I'm designing my game, I need to add something like that.
Just have a shady guy in a trench coat.
Can you give me your 9-digit password?
And then you could use that as like a learning tool in the game of don't give your password to anyone. No, see, what you need to do is then have like it result in the player's password getting like deleted. And then whenever someone clicks forgot password or can't log in, like, did you give your password to the shady guy with the trench coat? Naughty, naughty.
He likes your password too.
All your stuff is now his stuff.
Aw,
Okay.
this one is horrible. He has like over 500 quests, but they're all empty. And I can even sort the quest, but there's nothing in there. Such a horrible quest. It sucks that it's like an ATM.
Pretty much now what you'll need to do is go if you hold select and bring up your quests again.
Okay.
So just hit one, hit A, and then let me see. I should have like one like right there with you because like they relaunched and rebuilt the entire game.
Okay, so I have 15 quests. I got resident reconnaissance by file, in your sights, the ascent, the remembrance, loud racket, redeploy, loaded question.
I think this is. Let me make sure. Let me check something. I think I picked up. I think I picked up the first storyline. That's interesting if that's how they're doing this. Oh wow, I did.
Here.
I did. But we need to do what you need to do. Pretty much, you just pick one. You'll hit.
We need to do what you need to do. That is very clear. Whatever you think we need to do, we need to do. Okay.
The Red War should be the quest line you should be trying to find.
Yep. I'm on a new platform. Nope, can't catch that.
I'll meet you in orbit.
Okay, so I need to go back to orbit then.
Yes.
Wait, I found a new blue guy.
To the planet.
New blue guy. I think he's new. Are you new? Yeah, but you got everything that I can't get. Let me get them and I'll have them. And you said you want me to go to orbit.
Yes.
Why is everything toward the button?
I don't know.
No, like, take me somewhere fast. And it's like, please hold your button. And I'm like, thank you. Okay, I'm in orbit. Whee!
Good, now I should be able to find you and join you here. My fan.
It's okay, I can invite if you were online, but you're not online.
I should be online.
The only person I have... Oh, there you are. You're above everyone, because you're important. I'll promote you to leader, because you're my leader.
I can't be a leader, though. Like, you have to be a leader. I have to follow you.
I don't want to be leader. I have no clue what I'm leading.
Like I said, hold, select, go to quest, and then you should have a quest line called the Red War. That's the quest line we need to be doing.
Nope, don't have it.
That is very, very interesting. Oh boy. Well then, you don't have the Red War at all, huh?
Nope, I have 15 quests and no Red Wars.
Okay, do you have introduction as a quest?
No, oh, yep, I have introduction quest.
Quest. Yes, do that one. That's what we need to do.
Abandon it?
Stay on that, and then...
You said abandon it.
Make it disappear forever.
Okay, I'm tracking it.
I don't like objective. Good. Now I'll go over to destinations, and then whatever planet it should have a little green orb above. That's where we have to go. In theory, you should put a green orb, I think, on top of all of the planets, but...
I see no green orbs.
Oh boy. Like none?
No. I see like this yellow orb.
Well, what does the quest tell you to do, I guess?
I have no clue. You said just mark it, so I marked it.
Yeah, mark it and then tell us this. Like, it should be like complete.
Okay, I'll read it to you. Okay?
Yes.
Complete the ward quest of EDZ Titan, Nuzu, Io, and Mars. With check marks for Enhance, quest complete. Enemy of my enemy, quest complete. Exodus Black, quest complete. Dynasty, quest complete. Data recovery, quest complete. Rewards, cache of resources.
Yeah, okay, so you technically haven't done it yet, because it's like, if they're not like marked in green, you haven't done them. So
no, they're not marked in green, they're just written.
Okay. Okay, take it E to Z.
What is EDZ?
We go EDZ. Earth. It should be below...
Right here.
Technically, yeah. Earth.
Okay. So now I got a bunch of like markers just appearing. Should I click any of them?
Markers. Define markers.
Reverse polarity. Stop and go. Anti-air. Unsafe at any speed. Red Legion, black oil. No safe distance.
We should go to TROSTLAND, bottom right, is where we should be going, technically.
TROSTLAND. I don't have a TROSTLAND in the bottom right. I have TROSTLAND in like the center.
Okay, go there then.
Okay.
TROSTLAND should be the landing.
We got like 5 locations.
Yes, TROSTLAND. Let's go.
Okay, I put a waypoint.
Because that.
I can't put enough waypoints. I only can put 1 waypoint.
Well, go where you can land. There you go.
Okay, I'm landing. Are you coming with me?
Yeah, it should be.
You're like, with all my regret.
Now suddenly I have this abrupt fear that it's going to do this weird thing where because you're on the base game, I'm on all the DLC game, it's not going to let us play on the same server in theory because...
So that means you can buy me all the DLC then. Yay!
It's more like an irrational fear. I don't know if it's going to actually happen or not. Just because, like, whenever...
Well, what did the DLC give you?
Access to everything.
Which is?
Technically, you shouldn't have access to Mars. So
we're not going to Mars, so that's fine.
Not going to Mars, the Forsaken Shore, or... You should have access to Mercury. You should have access to...
So none of those sound like Earth.
Right.
Most likely it's a different server per planet.
Well, in theory, yes, but I'm just like, you know, like I don't know if it's going to be navigation mode. Oh my goodness, all these little helpful hints that are popping up on my screen to tell me how...
How do I play the game? I'm following you.
Yes, follow me. I'm gonna see if he's got a new, like, thing to give me. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
I have no clue where you went. You're above me somehow.
DEVRIM! Nope, he's got bounties, though.
I'm lost. Give me a second.
I'm upstairs.
I don't see stairs, so I'm climbing up the weird way. Okay.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Up some more platforms.
You're working up, yeah.
Are you the person I'm supposed to meet, or can I shoot you? I apparently can shoot you, but nothing happens. Hi, Jaden! Okay. Can't get your bounties, can't get your rewards.
Oh, you can't get his bounty?
Can't get the stuff. Nope, can't get anything.
Huh. Nice, okay. Well, what we're gonna do now is... You should have a little sword right here you should be able to hit X on. You don't see a sword to hit X on? There, you did. Okay. I was like, you should have a sword. If not, this could be interesting.
I have no sword. What sword are you speaking of? It's right here, I swear.
I'm just so... Like, I fight the urge to start a character over just to do it with you. Just so I can see exactly what they've changed.
Well, if you want that, guess what? You literally can go to my channel right now. I'll give you it. It's literally
experience it.
www.youtube.com/user/Sorlagna live something or other, right? Yep. See?
I don't know.
I know the address. So go there. You can see exactly what I'm seeing. Okay?
I could.
See, problem solved.
Yes. Problem solved.
And then if I keep looking at you, you can even play through my stream.
My D-pads aren't working for some odd reason. There we go. Big shot in the back of the head.
I'm dead.
Oh no, you died. What killed you? I think you blew yourself up.
I died again.
Ah, your poor corpse. What's killing you? Just gonna sit there.
I died again. You said I could play Gandhi in this game.
Alright.
I keep dying.
Okay, we got stuff to do now. We have to go.
Okay.
It's funny. Okay. You do have to shoot stuff. They're just like having fun with you at this point. Aim, gun, shoot. Aim, gun. Oh my God. You didn't even stand a chance.
Just keep running. They can't shoot me if they're running.
Poor guy. You gotta go this way. You're going the wrong way. Yep, shoot him. Yes. Oh God.
He put me in the corner.
No one puts baby in a corner.
I'm just following you.
This way.
This word is so much more dangerous than Breath of the Wild.
It's there.
Where did you go? Where did you go? And I'm dead again.
Hopefully they didn't like stick you on like my server because you're only at 110. This could be very bad.
How do I change weapons? Oh, I figured out how to change weapons. That will help.
Why? Whenever what you need to do, I don't know. Like I said, I think from what I heard, 750 is the new light level. So what you need to do is whenever you kill something and get a piece of armor, check to see if it's light 750, because that could be the reason why you're getting killed. Media, you're doing damage, right? You're not hitting like dudes, right? You're doing damage, right? From my perspective, you just got piked in the face. Oh my God, I think you're playing with a handicap. I think you need to start a new character is probably what you have to. You can't even take any hits. This is great. You're doing damage though, right? Like
I don't know what's damage. I only know damage from one perspective.
I'm crying. That's hilarious. You can't even move. Sorry, I'm having a dumb moment. I'm like, I should kill these guys so I can so you could actually rightfully spawn.
I can't pick up the items.
No, it'll be like a little blue orb on the ground after you'll kill enough things and eventually like blue stuff will drop and it'll give you armor and weapons and stuff.
Okay. Woo! Gotta find the armor weapon stuff. Oh, I see an enemy! Chase the enemy!
Oh my God. Oh, this is great. But like when you shoot something, you're doing damage, right? Like there's a little damage, like like you saw like little numbers when you shoot stuff.
No, I don't think so.
I need to watch your stream to confirm because that's amazing. That's great. All right, let's go. Well, I'm just gonna go. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be so bad. I'm gonna go to complete the quest. When we complete the quest, it should give you stuff. So I'm just gonna go do it real quick because if you can't stay alive, it's not going to work.
No, it can't work. Destiny is the best game ever.
But I'm thinking, I think you have to start a new character.
I got a new objective.
Your light's only a 110. Yes, you do, because I think I got us in the next one.
Okay, I'm finding you.
Like they didn't scale or anything. Okay. Like when you shoot stuff, are you doing are you getting numbers or are you getting the word immune?
Immune?
Like you shoot like an enemy. Okay, yeah, okay, the game's broken. This is great. Oh, come on, let's go. We're just have to just do it. Just like
I got your back.
I'm going to have to literally carry you.
I got your back, okay?
We'll do something real quick. Hit pause and then check your armor.
Okay, how do I check
start
my armor?
And then like, do you have any other armor pieces you can equip? The light should be like 750.
So I got some armor with 0 defense.
Yeah, we don't need that.
I don't know how to change anything.
Do you have no other armor? You just hit A and it'll sub it in and sub it out.
I'm selecting A. There's nothing's happening. So I'm gonna guess I have. So I have the Dreamer's Bond, which has 5 times energy and 21 defense.
Yeah, okay, if it's better than what you got on, definitely put it on.
Let's see. Let's see. How do I tell this? I have 4 points in recovery and 1 point in resilience. So I got everything as much as I can. Just follow the quest objectives.
Yep, give me 1 second. Yep. Just follow the quest objectives. You got this, Lugna. I believe in you.
I don't know how to jump up.
Double tapping. Here you go. Okay.
Respawning is restricted. Well, that's problematic.
Okay, so we gotta kill the stuff down here. So you got this, right?
Yep, I got this.
You got this, right?
Immune! They're immune! Yep, I'm dead.
Poor you. Get down there and get busy with them. You got this.
Okay.
Just get physical.
Immune!
You can. Oh boy, let me just pick you up here. You got this. Go. Oh God, you didn't even live long enough. Go, Wagner, go.
So we have proven that Destiny still sucks.
It doesn't suck.
It sucks.
I think you'd have to create a new character. I think
they didn't. They never even anticipated this.
They didn't. That's why this is so great. Because you can't do anything. Go, Legna, go. Go, Legna.
No, don't shoot me.
Dead.
Don't shoot me.
I'm going to die. Oh my gosh. I have no health.
It's okay. Save yourself. I got this.
That's great.
I got this. Save yourself. I'll come back to base to pick you up when I'm done with them.
Okay, you got this. Go get them, Legna. Go get them, Legna.
I don't even know where they are. I found some.
Did you like literally explode? Go get him, Legna. I'll help you. I'll help you.
He has a shield. I can't destroy him with a shield.
Let me get rid of these.
I'm watching you.
Yeah, I'll pick you up here in a second.
I'm living through your perspective. Toss.
Ow,
Toss.
ow.
Go, run, shoot, jump,
Bang, bang.
dodge, slide.
Got one more turret to destroy.
I somehow changed perspectives. I don't know how I changed perspectives, but...
You shouldn't... I don't think there's a way to change perspectives.
Investigate.
Yeah, we need to investigate.
I'm investigating.
Come plant the beacon. I'll let you plant the beacon.
I think I planted the beacon.
Come plant the beacon.
I think I did.
It's over here. Come to where I'm at.
What's this
no,
thing
you threw a rift down. You threw a rift. Come over here.
Okay. Where are you?
Hey, Scam.
Hello.
We've come to find out that Bungie didn't anticipate something.
I deployed it.
Yay! Woohoo! Like, watch this. Like, watch. Like, watch. Yes. Yes. Oh, there you go. Oh, I think that's the end of the quest, though. I hope it's not the end of the quest.
I feel vibrations!
Nope. I hope this isn't the end of the quest. You need to... we need to show Scam on what Bungie messed up on here.
I'm trying to find friends.
I hope it's not the end of the quest because it's gonna ruin.
I'm supercharged.
Yes, no objective. Yes, no objective. Yes. Let's go. Let's go, Legna. Let's go.
I have no clue what supercharge is, but most likely it means nothing.
No, you go first. Let's go. Left button and right button together. You use your special.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Do you use that? Yes. Use your special on an enemy. I want to see if we're about. This is gonna be great. I think you're about to watch a Nova Bomb do like no damage.
In here?
It's over here. This way. This way. This is going to be great. Run.
Yeah, you're doing this on
we have
heroic,
to
right?
No, we're not doing it on heroic.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, we are. Oops. But Legna launched it though. Legna launched it though. That's the reason why. That's the reason why. But Bungie goofed up. Okay, we had to come up here and okay, I'll launch it. Let me do this.
I don't know where I am.
See, it's funny. A 110 light launched a heroic quest. That's the reason why it's so hard.
That means I'll get all the experience, right?
Okay, now go. Use your special. That button, right button. Yeah.
Immune!
You missed! You missed!
Like, watch this. This is great. Get up, Legna. Get up, Legna.
I got this!
Legna. I'm going to die. Yeah, like I said, Bungie never anticipated this because I don't know. Like, 750 is the new light for everyone, right?
I think just us. Like our character.
I got this!
Well, it's so weird, but Legna was able to launch it though. Well, we'll find out. Like whenever we complete, I'll just have to.
Whenever you complete this.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I guess you're gonna come.
I mean, I might respawn enough times that the game gets tired of me and all the enemies die of old age.
Yeah, but it was funny because like, I couldn't figure out why. Like immediately as soon as Legna go running around the corner, he's immediately dying. I'm like,
don't shoot!
No damage resistance at all. Peace, peace. My right button. I need to get this controller changed out at some point.
And I'm dead.
Oh, that was a short-lived dream, wasn't it?
I'm helping so much.
You're doing so good. You're distraction recon over here.
Okay, I got this.
I thought you died. Like you went to the ground so slowly. I was like, did you drink your own poison? I'll protect you. Just staring at you. They're not even shooting at you anymore. Oh, you got shot in the face. I'm going to die.
Don't mind me. I'm just the Gandhi in this game.
You're literally playing. You do no damage to no one.
Oh. You're so awesome. Doing damage and stuff.
Yeah, but this isn't a great first time experience.
I wish I could do damage and stuff.
You're so good doing damage. That's
Let me
great.
come help!
I'm dead. I would revive you, but the moment I pick you up, you're gonna immediately hit the ground again. Oh, that's great.
I hope we go against a boss.
But it's great. Like I wanted to do your Nova Bomb because I wanted to see if you would even do damage.
Oh, I did. I did do damage. It was all immune.
The thing is, like, I can't die because I can't be like, "Hey, like, now pick me up, please."
I can pick you up.
Yeah.
Come on, let's try that.
You turned around and looked at me like, "Save me, please."
Come on, let's try that. Where are you? Hey, come back here. Let me try this.
Yeah, stand behind me and let me be your meat shield, alright? I'm getting so many.
I'm gonna play with this globe. Hey, dude.
Yeah, I get you in the face. He wasn't having none of that. Ooh, legendary drop. Okay.
Where's my friends? Can I
I got a
pick this
Badlander.
up? I don't think I can. More friends!
I'm glad Scam's landing.
Get out!
That really hurts.
I'm dead.
Yeah, that's Biggie. That's Big Boss right there. That's Big Boss, yeah. I'm gonna kill these little babies first.
I like how they keep trying to shoot at my orb.
Then sure you're dead.
Like, he keeps coming back!
Hopefully he's not sneaking around the backside of me.
There's one sneaking around behind you.
I guess as long as it's not the big one, I'll be fine.
There's one with a bazooka behind you.
I think he's the last one.
It's okay, I'll get him. Don't mind.
Oh god, it really hurts. Ow,
I'll sneak behind him.
Ow, ow, ow. Oh, hardcore stuff there.
He meleeed my orb!
Teabagging your corpse. Teabagging your corpse. Like, you like that? You like that?
The AI is so messed up it came and determined that I'm actually dead in the game. He was like, he's
Never
close. He's close. Let me go help. Ah, there's enemies up here. Let me go help. Ah, where are you?
No, you should have like a bunch of blue orbs on the ground. That you should have at least a armor drop by now. I'm guessing, with you being around us.
Primary weapon 4. And dead.
Oh.
Scam needs a recover.
I got a bunch of sniper drones there. I mean,
It's okay, I'll help.
okay, I'm going to Legna. This is great. This is great. Legna's the first guy picking up. Go get him, Legna!
Primary weapon 4.
Huh. Means you have way too many primaries.
My gosh.
How are y'all dying so fast?
It's okay,
What level is this on?
we're next to each other this time. Oh! Was the number next to the launch thing the level? Because I chose 999.
Yeah. Nice. There's your answer, Michael.
Yes, there it is.
I got this, guys.
I'm getting so many revive medals right now.
Don't mind me, I got this.
Poor Legna. We did it. Now you should get armor here.
Where do I need to go to get the armor?
Well, you should in theory get like an armor drop, in theory.
Where?
We need to get you invited to the clan too, so you can be part of
I don't know
team.
where. Is it in the menu?
Well, you should have gotten like rewards or whatever. Should have popped on your screen. You should be like, here's your armor and stuff.
I don't have anything new.
I got a Dollar General recluse.
I have a gun with a higher impact. That's about it.
Well,
What you look
what's this
for is
like?
the number on it.
Yeah.
Raw.
So it should
Now I'm
say,
seeing a
like-
black screen. Hopefully you guys are seeing a
Everything
similar.
has a certain light level on it.
Well, apparently mine is negative.
I'm literally shooting hell.
Oh, I did think of a cool ability in my game though.
What's that?
You do it, and you don't do any damage, none of that in the first game. You select a target, it does nothing. But the next turn, it will randomly choose a skill and do that on whichever target you last selected. Okay, let's see this. Okay.
Yeah, I still got a black screen. It's still loading.
I got no new armor. I got nothing for damage shield.
Why am I getting shot?
I don't see light.
Oh,
But
we're
I'm
back out.
surviving.
That's why. Yeah, you're surviving now because like the damage is like where it's supposed to be. You got thrown into the mental grenade. You're gonna die. I'll save you.
So now,
Don't you die on
what
me.
do you mean this light thing? Because I do have weapons, but I don't know.
What's the number on the weapon? It should have like a.
0 and 750.
Okay, so 750 is in. Yeah, hit 750. All your weapons should. Everything you have on should be 750.
Everything else is 0.
Yeah, you need to get everything to 750. So as you kill stuff.
So,
you know,
okay.
you just put
So
on the
then I
750.
have 750 for my weapon and 21 for my defense.
Yes. But as you kill stuff, you'll get more armor to put on. See, I know why everything's 0 on you. You're wearing all the broken armor from the intro. I observe that now. That's the reason why you have 0 defense.
Well, maybe
It's even
somebody
worse.
should
It's
fix
like-
my armor.
Well, we need to do some quests and get you some stuff.
I thought we just did a quest.
Yeah, we did, but it wasn't like, I don't know if it's like the quest.
What's the
Because
quest?
what's interesting, Scam, he doesn't have the quest for the Red War.
Hey, I killed something!
Should be the first one.
He doesn't have that quest. I asked him, like, I was like, track the Red War. He's like, I don't have it. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have it?
I killed
Like,
2
that's-
things!
Because like I'm saying, I think they literally
Can he
just dumped
screenshot his map to
everything.
you real quick?
Oh yeah, screenshot your map.
Why am I screenshotting? I literally am streaming
see
in
what you
live
do.
time right now. Why am I gonna
Fine.
screenshot?
Let me go to your stream, pad your number there for you, and let me just pull this up here for you.
I forgot about that.
Alright, let me get to a safe place. 'Cause I'm being shot in the face by...
What button do I need to hit
I
to
love
do
using
what,
these blue weapons.
what you guys want?
Mm-hmm.
What button do I need
So
to
what
hit?
is actually... what? Hold... We'll just, hold select. I'll go pull your thingy up here, YouTube.
You want to see my quest, right?
Subscription. It doesn't have to be your quest, but just let me see your map. Like, center your map for me. So I can see what we're working with here.
'Cause it should be like a red badge, and then like the
Yeah, I
upside
got
down
tons of
U
red
or
badges.
Are you sure you're streaming? You're not popping up in my stuff here.
I'm streaming. I got the Red Legion Black Oil.
Red Legion.
Like now?
Has he done the beginning quest, right?
Yeah, he did the yeah.
Where he got
Yeah,
pushed
because
off
you
the cliff
can't
and
even
everything?
get you can't even get to here until you complete all
So
that.
he's seen Gaul. Where he got kicked off the side of the tower.
Sure.
Yeah, he said he has to do all that to get to this point, if I recall. Like you can't get here without it, unless they rescaled everything, which I don't know. That's why I'm like I don't know why. There you go, you're live. I can watch you now. Here you go. I wasn't a huge fan when they decided to do that. Okay, so I got a bunch of swords. Huh. That is so strange.
You want to see my quest?
You need to do something with Red Legion.
He doesn't have any of that. Like all he has is the orange swords. No, he's always got the orange swords on Earth. Okay, well I guess pull your quest up.
Well, go out of Earth.
How do I go out of Earth?
Then have him hit left trigger and see what that brings up.
I'm seeing his quest. I'm not seeing anything Red Legion or Red War.
Like no, hold left trigger while you're on the map.
On the map? Okay.
Yeah, go to map.
I got 2 milestones.
And then hit B.
Hit B.
There you go, destinations. There we go. He's got nothing marked.
Okay.
We might have to go back to the tower.
Go to pursuits.
Okay.
Or quests or whatever it's called.
Quest.
You go to quest.
What is it saying there?
Yeah. My guardian's my friend. Okay, you're just running.
Remember, my stream is delayed.
I know. All he's got is literally from time to buy Shadowkeep. Or milestones, I mean.
Nothing.
He's got no bounties or no pursuits, no.
No pursuits. Let me see if I can bring him up. What's his YouTube thing?
Just Zero Ligna.
I'm gonna get all the.
I don't see anything.
I'm gonna get all the views.
That's so bizarre. I think we're gonna go back to the tower. Maybe I had to go talk to everyone at the tower. Because like one thing I did pick up. Scam. If you go talk to what's her name at the
Not showing it.
What do you want to see?
Sorry, like all lowercase. He wants to say you.
No.
Oh, no, it's capital S. My bad, capital S, and then everything else lowercase. Sorry, like no space.
Supercharge. Boom.
No space. That's one. Alright, now go to your map for me.
Okay. We're gonna do this again, and my viewers are gonna love it. Look at the map. It's so pretty, so empty.
That was a bad Nova bomb.
It was a great Nova bomb. Even Nova said it was great.
Okay, hit right button to go to destinations.
Okay. Right button, destinations. Ooh, pretty destinations.
Have you been to the tower yet?
I think so.
Let's go back to the tower.
Yeah, I've been to the tower.
Let's go back to the tower.
You want to go back to the tower?
Yes. Well, you got tracked pursuits. Go to quest for me. Go left to, or did you already go to the tower?
No, I haven't gone to the tower yet.
Hey, let me look at your quest one more time.
Okay. You guys know you can, like, move the stream back and forth. Like, I don't have to be at the screen. You can go back, and then go forth.
I don't know how far to go back though.
That's where YouTube's very nice and has like 5-second back forth movements.
Complete the world. Okay, go back. I was just not. Dang it. I can go back. Yeah.
I'm like,
It's gonna be
you
tough to go
do
back.
realize like it's a 30-second delay. So you telling me to go back is...
You're fine. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do it on your phone. I can't like
Right.
go forward or backward 10 seconds for some reason. Complete the world quest for EDZ, Titan, Nessus. So those are your introductions. So you have to do all those quests.
I
when
thought
you're
that's what we
tracking.
were doing.
So if you... Yeah, that's what you need to do. He was wanting you to do the red war, but evidently you can't do it yet. So if you bring up your ghost, you'll see all those things you got to do. Or just hover over that quest if you want to, the introduction quests.
Yes,
You can hover over that,
we did that.
and it'll tell you all the ones you got to do.
Yeah. And I told the black and one the ones I had to do. Is he
Yeah, you got
misguiding
to do all
me?
those. Yeah.
Why is he misguiding me? I think he just wanted to watch me die and die again.
Probably.
I also come to notice that he's no longer here.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. His internet probably went out again.
He like purposely avoided this. Okay, but we're getting near the end of the stream anyways. We had a good laugh though, you guys. Well, some of us had a good laugh. Some of us just died over and over again. But I'm gonna end my stream a little bit early. So, bye bye everyone.